does it mean to you to kind of be a part of it? Obviously, you've had a ton of success, but being Canadian, is this something special for you?
Yes, it is. So we would always watch the MMVAs with our parents, and it was a special time because we would get a Slurpee and Mexican chili chips during the week.
Whoa. So what kind of, what
Nice.
flavor of Slurpee would you
I don't
order?
know if the press really got that. And let's emphasize that again. During the week, we would get chips and a Slurpee.
Whoa! What kind of Slurpee? What flavor?
Always Coke, but sometimes I don't want to be brand focused, but I did like sometimes the Pepsi Slurpee was a little juicier.
A little juicier.
Yeah, a little juicier. No, we really loved it, and we were talking about this earlier. We sort of feel self-conscious because we graduated high school in 1998, so our real like heavy MMVA years were in high school, and so people will say like, "What's your favorite MMVA moment?" And we're always like moist or like like
Spice Girls.
Yeah, we'll be like, and then we're like, does that age us? Like I don't really know.
Did you get a Slurpee at all this week? Because you.
We didn't, but on our way here, we arrived on a double-decker bus with
Right.
30 twins, and they told us. We asked them. We were like, "What are your favorite MMVA moments, and what should we say when we're asked?" And they were like, well, everyone had different answers, but the best set of twins, they were like, you should just say ours is going to be the best performance. Just wait.
Bam.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
I
They were
like that.
they were teaching us.
They were feisty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twins.
So there.
Twins, don't mess with them.
Teaching twins.
Yeah.
Love it. Who's first? Karen?
Yeah.
Thanks, Teddy.
No problem.
Hi, ladies. I'm
Hi.
Claire.
Hi.
I'm from 570 News in Kitchener, not far away.
We talk about Kitchener
We
all
have
the
done
time.
so many things for Kitchener this week.
Really?
You guys are like the new Ottawa.
Oh,
It's
nice.
crazy.
I wanted just to start off by saying, I know it was a couple of years ago when you performed Like a Pill for Pink. What was just such an incredible performance. And I know you had said that you were so influenced by her in your
Yeah.
music. And we've heard so much versatility in your work from the start of your career to where we hear you now. So I wonder, who are you guys listening to now? Who's influencing you guys where you're going next with your music?
It's actually really funny because so many artists that are playing tonight, like it's funny, but when we were making our record, we were listening to a lot of 80s and 90s artists, but as soon as we finished the record, you got huge songs from Alessia Cara and Nick Jonas, and like it's funny seeing them here today, but like pop music's gotten super alternative, and there's a different voice coming out in pop music, and I think that's why Sarah and I feel so comfortable making pop music. I don't think we're pop stars. Everyone's always like, pop star, this and that, but I think for us, we just grew up in the 80s and 90s, and we are paying respect to the music that we grew up listening to, and I think the pop mainstream right now is really smart, it's really interesting, it's really diverse, and it's really alternative. And I think for Sarah and I, that's super appealing. 17 years into our career, it's important to make music that's interesting and has depth, but also that's relevant. And so it's funny because this bill is actually full of music that I really love. Like, first time I heard July Talk was at the Junos a couple of years ago, which was our first time going to the Junos and being nominated and winning something. And so we feel like Canada is influencing a lot of people right now, and we're really inspired by a lot of Canadian music. And we spend a lot of time in America, and we're constantly being told how cool Canada is, which of course we love because we're like, yeah. But there's just such incredible stuff happening in Canada, and it's a testament to the way the government and Canadian people think about music and how much support there is in the arts. And we're just so proud to be Canadian.
People say we're cool?
People say we're
People
cool.
say it all
Can
the
you believe
time.
it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Justin really.
I mean, it's like drinking the weekend, but still, like it's like But I think this is our second time seeing a Canadian movement happen. The first one being for us anyway in the mid 2000s with Metric, Broken Social Scene, Arcade Fire. I mean, Canada is producing incredible music, and it's because we respect music, we respect the arts here, and we have to continue to do that.
Good to you too as well. You're a part of it.
No, not
Yes,
us.
you
No,
are.
no. Sarah's just taking your cats and then on Netflix. But
Where are we? Microphone was. Hey, yeah, Rudy.
Hey ladies, how you doing? Rudy Blair.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How
Nice
you guys
to see
doing?
you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
If you remember when we used to do interviews way back when you
Absolutely.
guys were known
Sure
as
do.
indie artists, then what do you think switched for you guys? What did you do you think has brought you where you are now to mainstream? Because I can remember before you guys weren't considered mainstream. Now you are. What was the switch? What did you guys do that was different?
I mean, I think a huge part of it for us was just honestly what we were listening to. I had sort of made the switch maybe a little earlier than Tegan, but I was listening to Robin and Alicia Keys and this artist The Dream, who I sort of found by way way of Rihanna, Justin Bieber. Like, I actually was finding pop music really interesting and sort of a little left of center. We're very into production, so it was also a little bit just about like the instrumentation and the sonics. But I love guitar. We grew up in the 90s. That was sort of like a natural step for us. But I think at some point I sort of felt limited, and I think that's just probably skill level. And I found myself writing a lot more in Logic using like keyboards and drum loops and programming things, and I think that just ends up sounding a little bit more like pop production. And so pop for us is not necessarily a lifestyle. It's more of a I guess like a sonic choice. We still sort of see ourselves actually as like an indie band, and you know, I don't know that our relationship has really changed that much with our fan base and the way that we interact with the music industry. It's just that the pop sound has really allowed us to connect with and reach a lot more people, and also do things like this. I think we've had opportunities to do like the MMVAs and other types of events before, but for us it was like it didn't necessarily always work out, or it didn't make sense. Like now this is sort of the world that we're interested in. We want to use our reach as artists to speak to people and reach as many people as possible, and I think that just came with confidence in our 30s.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Juliana from Our Student Life at Ryerson University, and we want to know, how do you implement self-care into your busy schedules?
Self-care. We love self-care.
Yeah,
Same.
Yeah, big time.
you know, back in the day when we started out, we were just traveling around. Sarah and I started, we were 17 years old. I have no idea why our parents would let us do this, but they would let us get on the Greyhound by ourselves and travel from show to show. Guelph, Kitchener, Peterborough.
That was the opposite of self-care.
Yeah, it really was. And I think there was a point where we realized that there was an enormous amount of positivity that came from taking care of ourselves, taking days off, taking care of each other, watching out for each other, implementing things like, if you're really sick, we'll totally cancel the show.
Moisturizer.
And nowadays it's all water and moisturizer.
Self-care is all about moisturizing your face.
Face masks.
Right.
Hello.
This
Ryan.
is the most intense room I've ever. You guys are a hoot, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like we're trying out our new stand-up routine. And I'm like, well,
Do you want to be a lawyer?
what should I? Do you want to do law, or should I be a doctor now, or what do you want to do? Okay.
I love
You've
it.
done your moisturizer bit now.
Bring out the Tegan Sara sponsored shots.
Ryan Yergy from T.TV.
Hi.
As prominent members of the LGBTQ community, what is one of the biggest hurdles that you think that the community still has to overcome?
Well, I think this past weekend is a prime example of a hurdle we had to overcome. I think that ultimately, every step forward that the LGBT community takes forward, there's about 10 steps back. And I think that it's not exclusive to our minority group. I think ultimately there's just racism and homophobia and sexism and a million other things that are holding a lot of people back. I'd like to say that I think after 17 years of traveling the world is changing. I think it is. But I think ultimately there's still a lot of ignorance and hate in the world. And this past week was a tough one for us. It was a really big loss for our community. And it was really sad to see this happen at a time where so much change is happening. You know, we just released a record, and a lot of people have been asking us, what are you going to focus on now? Gay marriage is equal, like, you know, everyone's equal in America. What are you going to focus on now? And we were like, that's so strange, because I don't feel like they legislated some change, sure, but the world is still a very complicated and difficult place for LGBT people, and we have a huge civil rights movement happening right now with transgender people in America, and I think that the worst thing that could happen to our community is we could become apathetic, and we could think that everything has changed. Everything has not changed. We're still a minority group, and a lot of people still hate us. That was proven that like past weekend. But this is an exciting time too, because it means we can band together, and I think we have a really good chance of legislating change. I think we need to change the gun laws in America, and I think that we need to remember that we are on this planet for a short time, and we should love each other. We should treat each other with respect, and we're still mourning for the Orlando LGBT community and sending our love to them, and hope that the press and celebrities and people with a platform continue to do everything they can to support those people. I mean, it's unfathomable to me that happened. Waking up on Sunday morning reading that 100 LGBT people have been shot is sick. And people just don't really care.
Thank you for speaking out, and thank you for being a big part of the iHeartRadio MMVAs as well.
We're so thrilled. This is our first MMVA.
Yeah.
We're very happy to be here. Thanks so much for taking